Hi, I'm taking a walk before possibly going to a gathering with some believers. But I saw and read a little bit on, I think it's called like shepherdingwords.com last night, that is like warning people against those who would make false accusations or spread rumors on social media. And I just want to say that problems in the church need to be dealt with. And by the church, I mean the church, any believers. They need to be dealt with. And anything at least I have posted on social media is neither a false accusation nor is it unsubstantiated rumors. So I would like to speak specifically and only about myself right now. That according to legal authorities, according to therapists, according to my doctor, my main physical doctor, as well as other specialists, I have been in an abusive relationship with someone who is a leader in the local church and who was a trainer at the time, while very, very obviously abusing me, was a trainer of the full-time training in Anaheim and was a board member of the church in LA. And so I would like to ask other leading ones, fellow leading ones of my husband, who do I go to? Because I made a fool of myself emailing most of you, many of you, if I knew you. I have included fellow trainers of my husband. I have included fellow church elders in LA and in other localities. Who do I go to? Then I was told by one elder in LA, if somebody is breaking the law, appeal to legal authorities. Full stop. You're not a wife of someone with a blood disease and a mother of children who have only known a life very much influenced by a genetic blood disease. And you are possibly not an abuse survivor from all of your formative years. You are not someone, anyway, you're not me. And I am appealing now for help, and I have been appealing for about 6 years. So if any of you elders or senior coworkers, and I say that without any respect of persons, if any of you would like to meet, then I would like to meet as well. And I would like to meet with a few other witnesses to clear up matters. No problem. I'm posting a YouTube thing. Thanks. Thank you. So, I also want to ask you in your shepherdingwords.com, what scripturally should somebody do who is in a situation where abuse in a church setting is affecting those they love? And then I want to bring up also my experience being touched in my private areas, specifically my breasts, my waist, and my thighs or hips, by, at that time in 1987, the manager of the Living Stream Ministry. This is not to spread rumors, and this is not to make false accusations. This is to bring up something that it took decades for me to process. And it took being again in a situation where I was being violated, but in a very different way, in my marriage and not receiving any help, and then thinking back to the fact that this happened when I was in high school, where I should have been cared for and was not by leading ones in the church. I want to ask you brothers, anyone who knew about that in 1987, why you didn't ask a 16-year-old if a sister, her first name is Naomi, those who know, why she would report. And the only reason I know she'd report it because she was the one taking down my measurements, and she's the one I turned to and told her this is awkward. Why you didn't come to me? Was it up to my dad? Because he went to that brother, and I'll say his first name, Philip. My dad went to that brother and was told it's all a lie. And my dad wanted so badly to believe Philip. And he didn't ask me till I was 47 about it. But you know what? If my dad would have heard from me that it did happen, would you have excommunicated him and labeled him as negative? Would you have said that he's one of those with unforgiven offenses and unfulfilled ambitions? And by the way, one of you senior coworkers told my sister that my dad is weird. Another of you coworkers told one of my brothers not to marry his now wife. There's just been a lot of overstepping. But when I read that in shepherdingwords.com, as if anybody on social media reaching out for help and to help others are those in a category of false accusations, bearing false witness against our brothers, or spreading rumors. I'm not spreading rumors. This is the truth. And you can call me anytime at 310-486-3168. And if you need substantiation of what my accusations are, well, I do have witnesses of at least Philip is with the Lord now. So I don't have, and I don't know, I can't reach Naomi, that witness. But I do know one of my brothers said that for decades, over the 30 years, my dad brought up to him that he thought I was molested by that brother. So you can talk to that brother of mine, if that counts as a witness. But a lot of abuse survivors don't have direct witnesses. But I do have emails. I'm passing a school with lots of different people, like a little child there. I do have emails telling me I have to give 2 months notice to go by my home that has my in-laws CC'd. Oh, and that's another thing. So I would like to meet with my in-laws, and I have asked them privately. I have asked them more, not publicly, but in emails with other witnesses, to meet with me, please. You're my in-laws. You're the parents of my own husband. So I'm asking you to meet with me, but with witnesses, to clear things up. So this is just my appeal, because reading those words on, quote, shepherding.com, how do you shepherd a soul of somebody who's been abused and the abuse has never been addressed by people that should be shepherds and should be responsible and should be leading ones and should be caring for the sheep. So all I can say is, with that going through me sometimes today, I was like, all I can do is say, please meet with me, but please let there be witnesses. And I can mention your first names. I've met with you, Ron. There are a lot of people. Minoru. Any of the elders in the church in Los Angeles. I'd like to ask you what your stance has been. Why is it with me that if it's intergenerational or extra local or involving any kind of illness, especially mental illness or something like that, you don't get involved? And whose situation do you get involved in then? Because life is full of a lot of those categories. Anyway, I wanted to keep this brief. I love every single human. Every single believer in Christ, of course. But I'm not a respecter of persons, and I don't think any of us should be, because God isn't. And I would like to meet with you, and I would like to talk to you about what I have experienced in what you call the church. But I am so comfortable with Jesus, and I am so comfortable with other believers. But I have been pretty much ostracized by most people that identify as being the church in either my city or other cities. Thank you to those who haven't ostracized me, but it's hard to know anymore, because I know I'm labeled as a poisonous one and as a negative one, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm just speaking the truth and trying to find help in getting through and in not allowing this to continue. This type of abusive pattern, this systemic abuse. Okay, so thanks for listening. May the Lord do what is on his heart.